Well, greetings everyone out there in YouTube and BookTube land. Welcome to another edition of the History Shelf. I'm your host, Peg, as many of you know. There you have it. Also, there you have it. That's who I am. That's what I do in my spare time. And hey, welcome back to this episode where we catch up on a stack load of books that I'm just now getting to. And I've got some leftovers here, not leftovers at all. What I mean to say is, thank you. What I mean to say is that I've gotten some more really good history titles that neatly fit into, just this summer of celebrating America 250. So, I did my big America 250 reading list, a few weeks ago, but I've got a few more here, and I wanted to make sure we covered them. All right, so let's just do that first, shall we? We'll do the America 250 books first. And what else is more appropriate than this? I'm not sure how I got sent. I think I signed up for this. This is the Simon Books History Buffs campaign for the U.S. Constitution. Yes, this is going to be great. If you've ever wanted to read the Constitution but felt like, do I know what I'm reading? Do I understand it? This might be the book for you guys, and me. And me. I'm not a lawyer. I can understand most of these things, but anyway, here's a book for all of us lay people, as it were. This is the U.S. Constitution, a comprehensive and annotated guide for the modern reader by Melissa Murray. This is put out by Simon & Schuster's 37 Inc. imprint. This is a naked hardcover. It's very nice. I don't have much in the way of just the little publishing sheet here, the pub sheet, but it's I'll just tell you what this book does for you. The United States Constitution is the nation's most important founding document, one that may be more relevant today than at any time in recent memory. Rigorously annotated by Melissa Murray, the U.S. Constitution unpacks each article and amendment to show how it came to be, what the founders debated, and why those choices still shape our laws, rights, and daily lives today, making this book essential reading. I couldn't agree more. I want to educate myself in far more detail about every article and amendment in the Constitution, and I think we all should be educated. We need to be aware of our rights. So I wanted to serve this up to you. I'm not sure when it came out. I know it came out this year, probably within the last month or two. So, Comprehensive and Annotated Guide for the Modern Reader, U.S. Constitution by Melissa Murray. Check that out. All right. Then I was contacted by one of the authors of this book, and I meant to get him in the last video, and I apologize for that, Tony, but we're covering you today. This looks fabulous. This is called Divided Over the Declaration, How an Enduring Debate Sustains the Vision of America by David J. Bob and Tony Williams. This is put out by Diversion Books, which I think, and Tony even dedicated it to me. Thank you, sir. Best wishes to a history lover and patriot, America 250. Well, right back at you, sir. Right back at you. All right. Oh, yes, fantastic. Let me read to you what this book will cover, Divided Over the Declaration. On America's 250th anniversary comes the story of our nation's fiercest ideological struggle, an enduring battle over the Declaration's true meaning that has tested and reaffirmed the unifying principles of our democracy. As America celebrates the 250th anniversary of the Declaration, the nation reminds the nation remains divided over the real import of its most resonant words: equality, liberty, and unalienable rights. Alongside the historical figures who forged the most powerful interpretations of the Declaration's ideals, authors David J. Bobb and Tony Williams bring us into the rooms, streets, battlefields, churches, and courtrooms where these meanings were questioned, defended, and redefined. We encounter Thomas Jefferson drafting the Declaration under impossible pressure, Abigail Adams urging the nation to remember the ladies, Frederick Douglass insisting that America honor the universal promise of equality, and more. From the nation's founding through abolition, suffrage, anti-imperialism, civil rights, and beyond, here is the story of principles applied in American life. The Declaration's guiding tenets have inspired movements, fueled resistance, and sparked conflict from 1776 to today. Yet time and again, the Declaration has asserted its power to unite, which is its greatest strength. All right. Like I said in one of my other videos, I'm entering into my super busy work season. So, oh man, there's so many books I want to get to. I haven't begun reading this yet, but I definitely want to, and I plan to. It's just the nature of the late summer, early fall. That's when work really picks up for me. But this is on my nightside table. I want to start tapping into this. And I think it's along with, learn about the Constitution. And then we're going to really dig into the Declaration of Independence, two key documents in America's creation and founding. So check out Divided Over the Declaration, everybody. I think it's going to be a fantastic read. Okay. Now we're going to go to a big old book here. This came out a couple months ago, I think, maybe in June. Last month. Okay, so last month, not 2 months ago. I think. It could be, oh, here it is. Oh, it's telling me right here. I've got a pub sheet, guys. Oh, this came out in May. All right. All right, so let me see. All right, I'm going to read from the pub sheet. This is A Perfect Coincidence: The Extraordinary Friendship and Astonishing Deaths of John Adams and Thomas Jefferson by Jim Rasenberger. And this is from Scribner. Okay, so I know this, you might have seen this in a couple of other nonfiction booktube channels, but let me show you what this one's going to cover here, and it's available now, obviously. A Perfect Coincidence is a remarkable look at the long and complex relationship between the two founding fathers who died on the same historic day, July 4th, 1826, exactly 50 years after the adoption of the Declaration of Independence, and timed to the 250th anniversary of America's founding. Over the course of 50 years, their diverging visions for the future of our fledgling democracy led to a bitter political rivalry, even including vicious personal attacks. But their ability to communicate across the divide and reconcile remains an enduring and timely lesson for today. In creating the Declaration of Independence, approved by the Second Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776, Jefferson and Adams collaborated in what Jefferson later called a perfect coincidence of thought and action. Exactly 50 years later, in the most perfect coincidence in American history, they died within hours of each other, both former U.S. presidents, both essential architects of the nation. This book explores those two remarkable coincidences and the 50-year relationship in between. Thomas Jefferson, a charismatic Southern aristocrat, and John Adams, a cantankerous Yankee, were once close friends, then bitter political enemies. In the later years of their lives, they reconciled and resumed an extraordinary correspondence, totaling some 380 letters that continued until their final months. Other than the Declaration, the greatest symbolic gift either man gave his country may have been dying together on that fateful Independence Day in 1826. For many Americans, this moment was viewed as a visible and palpable manifestation of divine favor, as one contemporary put it, and fueled the conviction that America was a land of miracles. Published to coincide with the 250th anniversary of the United States and the 200th anniversary of the men's deaths, That's right. Okay, yeah. This book is essential reading for anyone interested in presidential biographies, the Revolutionary War era, and the enduring power, yet terrible fragility of American democracy. Yes, this is going to be so good. Yes, they're long reconciling correspondence is the part I'm really looking forward to diving into. I love reading their letters. Both men were so brilliant and erudite. It's going to be great just to kind of read about their friendship and the deaths. And it really was a startling coincidence. I mean, you couldn't even have, it would have seemed, if you had done it in fiction or a movie or something, people would say that would never happen. But it did. It did happen. So I wanted to kind of elevate this book for you guys. Like I said, it's been out a couple months, but it's on my reading list. And perhaps it will be on yours. All right. I got a couple more books here with this type of theme. And then we're going to move into some other titles that are not necessarily America 250. I requested this book because this author has written some really great biographies. He wrote a massive biography on General Douglas MacArthur. This is Founder's Fire from 1776 to the Age of Trump by Arthur Herman. This is put out by Center Street Publishing. So I requested this because I kind of want to see where, it goes from then to now and, see what kind of, I respect his other work. So I'm kind of curious to see what he might make of then versus now. I don't have a pub sheet, so I'm going to read from the dust jacket, guys. So hang on here. Whether it's 1776 or the era of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, Arthur Herman argues that the United States has always been propelled forward by a special kind of leader, the founder. More than just business creators, founders are visionaries, risk takers, builders, rebels, who reinvent America in times of crisis and stagnation. From Washington and Lincoln to Edison, Ford, Elon Musk, and even political disruptors like Martin Luther King and Donald Trump, this book reveals how their relentless drive, bold vision, and refusal to accept a stagnant status quo have reshaped America time and again. Herman introduces a compelling framework, the constant battle between founders and the managers who inevitably take over their achievements and enterprises. As our own history shows, those successors often institutionalize, but can also stifle innovation and meaningful change until a new generation of founders and disruptors surges forward to renew and reinvent based on first principles, whether it's a business, an institution, or America itself. In a contemporary twist, Founder's Fire even shows how current cultural touchstones like Shark Tank reflect the enduring appeal of the founder mindset stretching back to 1776 and rolling on through the rich pageantry of American history until today. Insightful, provocative, and deeply relevant. This is a sweeping history that helps us understand America's past, present, and its future. In its pages, readers will discover the soul of America as the founder nation and perhaps learn something about themselves in the process. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to, when did they get to that? Okay, so this is kind of like a book about like technology and like thought leadership in the realms of private industry and talking about innovation. So, okay, I get that. We're gonna, yeah, all right. I'm looking at the chapter titles. We've got American System, yeah, Fire of Genius. Abraham Lincoln confronts the founders. Then we have the tycoons and the railroad guys, the robber barons. Then, of course, all the founders, engineers, and production men in 2 world wars. Okay, so this has got a little bit of kind of everything, but not really about the founding, as it were. It's more about people with ideas that kind of lead the way. Okay, well, I'm going to see. We'll see how this goes down. But I've liked his other work, so I wanted to check out Founder's Fire from 1776 to the Age of Trump. So there you go. That is out now. And I wanted to throw this is fiction, guys. I'm just squeaking it in because it just seemed perfect for this. If you want to read some historical fiction and you want to, just kind of think about America in the founding era and the colonial era and the revolutionary era, I haven't gotten to this one yet, but it's on my list because I love this lady, the topic of this novel. And that is A Founding Mother, a novel of Abigail Adams by Stephanie Dray and Laura Camoy. This is put up by William Morrow. And let's see, when did this came out? A couple months ago too, I think. Yeah, back in May. So I just kind of wanted to throw in a little historical fiction. Just going to sneak it into you guys, right? In the heart of revolutionary Boston, Abigail Adams raises her children amid riots, blockades, and the outbreak of war. While her husband, John Adams, rises from country lawyer to nation builder, often away for years at a time, Abigail builds her own independence, managing their farm, making lucrative investments, amassing savings, battling plague and loss, and defending their home. Unafraid to speak her mind, she famously offers fearless political counsel, urging John to remember the ladies in the new government. Through it all, she becomes his most trusted confidant and indispensable ally. When peace is secured, Abigail steps onto the world stage, exchanging ideas with Thomas Jefferson in the French countryside, navigating court life as the wife of the minister to Great Britain, and presiding over the parlor politics of the early American Republic in New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. Even after her husband's presidential administration, she continues battling political foes and working behind the scenes to advance her family, secure independence for the women in her life, and ensure a better life for the next generation of Americans. From war-torn streets to the chandeliered halls of power, A Founding Mother is the unforgettable story of a woman ahead of her time, one whose voice, vision, and valor still resonate powerfully today. So that should be a good read. This is a kind of nice, beefy novel, about 438 pages. So, yeah. Looking forward to reading this one. All right, now we're going to just move into some assorted books that have come in over the last few months. Oh, I was about to drink from this and there's nothing in it. Let's remedy that, shall we? All right. Can you hear the bubbles? This author contacted me on my social media channel, and I was really pleased that he did so. He has just, I think, when did he write this? This come out this year. He's written books on Reagan. He's also written a book on Theodore Roosevelt, Henry Cabot Lodge as well. Might have to check that one out. This book, when did this come out? It came out this year. Okay, so probably within the last month or two, I'm going to guess. How y'all doing out there? All right. With a big thanks to the author, Lawrence Jerdam, I was able to get this copy of his new book, and I'm excited to read it. This is 41, George H.W. Bush and the End of the American Establishment. As you can see, there's the author's name, Lawrence Jerdam. This is put out by Bombardier Books. Bombardier Books. All right. George H.W. Bush embodied a generation of statesmen shaped by values of integrity, service, and competence, a gentleman bred with valor that exceeds any politician today. Seizing every opportunity available to him, Bush leveraged his education, military service, and business success to build a foundation for a distinguished career in public life. Guided by mentors such as Dwight Eisenhower, Richard Nixon, and Ronald Reagan, Bush honed a diplomatic and political skill set that made him one of the most thoroughly prepared presidents in U.S. history. In 41, professor and researcher Lawrence Jerdam details how Bush's service across multiple branches of government gave him a deep understanding of the administrative state and a sincere respect for consensus building and diverse viewpoints in policymaking. Let me comment after I've read this. His skillful leadership brought about the peaceful end of the Cold War, the international coalition that expelled Saddam Hussein from Iraq, and new opportunities for immigrants and the disabled. Facing the turbulence of a second Trump presidency, our nation must seek inspiration from great past leaders to secure our nation's future. Bush's lifelong commitment to expertise, experience, and principled public service displays the blueprint American voters should demand of their presidents, and the first step toward restoring this great republic. Lawrence, I couldn't agree with you more. And the only thing I was going to, not make a joke, but I was just going to say, reading this, it's just like, you remember the day, everybody out there of a certain age, you remember when actually, people thought he was a bad guy? And now you're like, oh my God, I wish we could have this back, right? You do. You do. You'd even wish for W back to some extent. But I mean, how far have we fallen with our political leaders? And now looking back, this is like nostalgia now. Reading this, it's just like, oh yeah. Back when, having experience in deep learning in how to come together and also just the fact that the coalition building is so huge. It's like both parties, they don't talk, no one talks to each other, and I don't even think people talk within their own parties. The whole system is breaking down in my mind. I don't know. It's just so cynical. Everything is so cynical. Everything is about me, cover my ass, CYA, where's my money? Do what you want me to do, just pay me. It's just disgusting. Sorry. I get on a rant because I don't know what's going on with the country. I love my country and serve my country, and there's so much going on that I just, from a history perspective, I know we're living through history being made, and it's not good history. It's not a good time right now, guys. So 41, George H.W. Bush and the end of the American establishment. If you need some inspiration, I'm gonna urge you to check out Lawrence Jerdam's book. And thank you, Lawrence, for this copy. It is on my bedside table. This book is not too long, a little over 200 pages, so very doable. 41. Okay, moving on. Oh yes, I'm very intrigued by this title, and I requested this one. This is from Henry Holt Books, and this is A Terrible Intimacy: Interracial Life in the Slaveholding South by Melvin Patrick Ely. You can get a better picture there. Very stunning cover. All right. A white man hosts a wedding party for his enslaved servant and finds himself charged with a criminal offense. An overseer turns up dead after getting drunk with a slave. Two men, one poor and white and the other enslaved, team up to plot a murder. Through 6 criminal cases in Antebellum, Virginia, A Terrible Intimacy describes a startling variety of encounters between white and black Virginians. Contrary to our common assumption, fully half of the enslaved people in the South lived not on sprawling plantations but on small properties. Cruelty was baked into the system, yet in households of 5, 10, or 15 people, exploiters and exploited knew each other well, sharing religious worship, folkways, and domestic dynamics. Slaves, slave owners, overseers, and poor whites drank, played, slept, and even committed crimes together. Yet whippings happened often. Enslaved families were split up. And in 1861, most white men in Virginia were ready to fight for the right to own other humans. revealing a society in which white Americans recognized the humanity of their Black neighbors, even as they remained committed to a system that exploited and abused them. A terrible intimacy offers striking new insights into the complexity of life in the Old South. So again, in my last video, I was talking about serendipity of topics, reading topics, and how things have been kind of percolating and popping up, and things I've been reading, just making connections everywhere, and it's just been so crazy. And here's another one. I've been doing a lot of reading about the Antebellum South, myths of the Civil War, this kind of stuff, slavery, all this kind of stuff. And this book is just going to bring it home in a very real way. And so, yes, interracial life in the slaveholding South. This came out, I think, about a month ago, from Henry Holt, and I am very much looking forward to just exploring the level of that, like the level of these interactions. You know, and it is puzzling to me how people that recognize the humanity of the Black people on these plantations, and then this book is saying they did things together, they drank, they did, you know, they worshiped, they did all these things together, but yet there's this section of society that was still more than happy to want to exploit and oppress them. Pretty harsh stuff, let me tell you. All right, so that's that. This book I requested because my friend Brian at the Krusty Codex, he's got his own booktube channel. He read this, and I think he read it on PDF or Kindle right as it was coming out. It's out right now, but I was like, I need to get a print copy because I definitely want to check this out. I'm very excited. This is from Random House Books, and this is The Black Death, The Global History of Humanity's Most Devastating Pandemic by Thomas Asbridge. It's a pretty meaty book, as you can see. Yeah, look at that cover. Trying to get my face out the way. All right. This is a sweeping history of humanity's greatest natural disaster, the Black Death, that reveals the true global impact and terrible human cost of this calamity. Oh yeah, I've got a couple of this guy's other books, from the renowned author of The Crusades and The Greatest Night. In the mid-14th century, a lethal plague struck the medieval world, causing unimaginable suffering and destruction. The Black Death was unquestionably one of history's defining episodes, yet a critical feature of its progress has often been ignored. The disease was not confined to Europe, but rather affected almost all of the known world, including the Near and Middle East, Byzantium, North Africa, and Asia. Let's see here. Tracing the pandemic's course across the globe, the Black Death contrasts the experiences of different peoples, including Christians, Muslims, and Jews, charting this catastrophe's transformative effects on diverse aspects of medieval life. And crucially, historian Thomas Asbridge demonstrates that the plague was often at its most destructive in the Islamic world, where it ultimately played a role in the collapse of the mighty Mamluk Empire. The Black Death also brings the human drama of this calamitous era to life, evoking the terror and the turmoil that beset cities such as London, Cairo, and Florence. Asbridge reconstructs the lives of the men, women, and children who faced the Black Death, from ruling monarchs to peasant farmers, laying bare both the abject horror they endured and the courageous resolve they often demonstrated while striving to survive. Uncovering a story that speaks to our own age, The Black Death highlights humankind's capacity for compassion and resilience amid a global crisis, to explain how the medieval world confronted and ultimately overcame this shattering pandemic. All right. Fabulous. Who doesn't love just a big book on the Black Death? What's your idea of a fun Friday night? Well, I'm going to be reading The Black Death by Thomas Asbridge, and I'll be loving it. So, no, hey, you know, I have diverse interests. What can I say? But this one looks great. I know Brian did enjoy it, and I want to read it because he had some very specific thoughts on it too, and I want to kind of pick his brain on that. So Brian, it's on my list, and I'd like to talk to you about it after I'm done. All right. A couple more books here. All right. Where are we at? 30 minutes. Great. Okay, great. This is from Stackpole Books. And I think I did request this one because this looks really good. This book is called War is Hell, The Rise of Total War from Napoleon to the Present by Daniel E. Long. This is a naked hardcover. Very beautiful. It's, like I said, Stackpole Books, and there you got the image from World War I. Look at that devastation. Humanity, we just have such a knack for destroying things, don't we? All right. Let me see. Is there a synopsis? Because the naked hardcover doesn't really have a, it's got extensive notes, bibliography, about 255 pages. So it's going to move through some of these wars pretty quickly. So he's covering antiquity through 1860 in 30 pages. So, there's a lot of, he's going from Napoleon to the present. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. So, he says here in the introduction, what is total war? How do we define it? Well, the actual phrase total war was first used by Karl von Clausewitz in his book on war, and later used as the title of General Erich Ludendorff's 1935 book, Der Total Krieg. The idea and concepts encompassed by the term, also known as war of annihilation, are nearly as old as man, encompassing many of the wars fought by mankind. However, this concept, as implemented by many of the combatants, reached new levels during World Wars I and II. And isn't that the truth? It's going to go into a lot of different things here. He'll cover genocide here. He'll cover crimes against humanity, ethnic cleansing, mass atrocities. This is really hardcore stuff, though. And then in the back, it just says, from Napoleon to nuclear war, this book unravels the brutal rise of total war and its devastating impact on soldiers and civilians alike. So I wanted to check this one out because, as you know, military history is a big focus of mine. And that is a new release in those type of studies. So, all right. And this one's a little different, but very appropriate for BookTube, I think. This is from Harper Books. And this is The Story of Stories, The Million-Year History of a Uniquely Human Art by Kevin Ashton. The Story of Stories. All right. Nice. All right. We tell ourselves stories in order to live, Joan Didion told us. Yet the story of stories has never been told until now. MIT technology pioneer Kevin Ashton was at the forefront of the digital revolution that led to the invention of the smartphone, the ultimate storytelling device. This latest technology in the long arc of human storytelling allows anyone, for the first time in history, to share stories with everyone. In The Story of Stories, Ashton leads us on an eye-opening, compelling journey through the 8 great revolutions of storytelling, all of which follow a simple pattern. Each major new storytelling tool increases the number of people who can share stories and the number of people with whom stories can be shared. Our first night fires created the earliest audiences for spoken stories. Language did not lead to stories. Rather, stories led to language. In time, rhyme, song, and other mnemonic devices allowed those spoken stories to be preserved for generations. Pictures drawn on cave walls turned conservancy into permanence and depicted events we still imagine thousands of years later. With the development of writing, storytellers were able to spread tales to faraway places. The Chinese invented printing with movable metal type around 700 AD. The Toltecs similarly invented it about the same time. And 750 years later, Gutenberg invented it again, adding a converted wine press to establish mass communication. Over time, printing presses increased by many orders of magnitude the number of storytellers and the size of their audiences, starting a trend that would lead to great revolutions, and then electronic, and digital storytelling, and all our storytelling tools of today and tomorrow. And this remarkable book, more than 25 years in the making, wow, Ashton looks at the development of human storytelling to help us understand where we are in the latest iteration that is the digital era. Drawing examples from art, literature, music, and pop culture, from Aristotle to artificial intelligence, from the Bible to Bon Jovi, okay, from cave paintings to cinema, and from Frederick Douglass to Facebook, The Story of Stories is a passionate, crucial exploration of how stories and the tools we use to spread them continue to change us, connect us to each other, and give our lives meaning. So, what do you think of them apples? The Story of Stories. Yeah. I think the publisher sent me this. Very interesting. So history mixed with some technology history, and then tying it all in together. I love it. So The Story of Stories, Kevin Ashton, out now from Harper Books. Okay, guys, that is kind of like part one of my catching up video. I still have another short stack of books to bring to you. Then we'll be caught up as far as things that have come in over the last few months. But I've got so many more videos I need to film. I need to be doing some military history spotlight videos. I've got fiction videos I need to do. I've got another university press release video to do. And of course, we've got August coming up. It's already kind of, those books are kind of piling up. September, October, November, big publishing months. So a lot of new history coming out. So stay tuned, subscribe, stay in the know, if you will. Hit the notification bell if you want to be alerted to when I have a new video popping up. But in the meantime, guys, let me know what you thought of these. I always love to hear from you. Thanks for joining me today on The History Shelf, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.